Joining me at this time while traveling on the road, or should I say, waiting in his car at the airport, is the financial editor at RealClearPolitics.com. He's the political editor at Forbes.com and the president of the Parkview Institute, John Tamny. John, good to have you with us again.
Hey, Rick, thanks for having me on.
John, you wrote an article recently. I read it at RealClearMarkets.com, where you're the editor, and it shocked me. And as the father of a just recently turned 17-year-old, I couldn't agree more with what I read in depth there. Elon Musk, the title of your article is Elon Musk may well transform the American education system too. Reading your article, I learned I had no idea he was involved in this. And, you know, what jumped out at me is the education system has been the same, as you point out in the article, for centuries. And it's supposed to prepare each of us as a child for life. I'll let you jump in, take over.
Yeah, where's the outrage here? And where are the people saying, oh, we've been lied to for centuries? No business would remain a business by offering the same thing every day, year after year, decade after decade, century after century. Yet it's accepted wisdom that we all must learn math, science, English lit, some language of sorts and history, and that will prepare us for the future. It is ludicrous. And is it any wonder that so many people get up every day dreading going to school because they're forced to do something that has nothing to do with what interests them and that frequently humiliates them. And then they have teachers who pop quizzes on them. Imagine a work environment like this. Musk came up in this kind of schooling. They thought he was mentally challenged. And so he's got the means now, and he's got employees whose kids need education at SpaceX. And so he's fixing how they teach at SpaceX, and hopefully it will expand nationwide.
And Musk has said a school should be like a video game for a kid or for a student where he or she wants to get there and do it. And I didn't know until I read your article, SpaceX, Musk has an elementary school in Texas, and he says that it's for ages 3 to 9. And he said kids think vacation is too long; they want to get back to school.
Absolutely. Well, why has it always been a rule that we must be afraid of school? That we must be so forced to do things that have nothing to do with our interests or intelligence, that somehow if we pass these classes, we've proven that we're ready for the future. There's no basis for this.
Wow.
And you think about all the smart people out there who are rendered dumb because the accepted wisdom is that we all must learn the same subjects all of our lives until we're 18 years old. It is so mindless, so at odds with progress. And we see it all the time in the working world that people thrive for all sorts of reasons having nothing to do with education. And I think Musk recognized this. He hated going to school growing up. As he said, it was torture for him. What they were teaching had nothing to do with what he was interested in. And so he is creating a school that will reflect the interests of each individual going there. They can focus on what interests them. They're excited to do that. They were never excited about the old way.
What is the likelihood, in your opinion, I mean, your crystal ball, that this concept that Musk is now executing in Texas grows and expands throughout our culture?
Well, I'd written several weeks ago that before getting into Musk, I'd written several weeks ago that I thought we were heading in this direction. And the reason I think we are is because so many people out there have become successful despite not being good at school, that I predicted that there would be growing demand among parents that schools be different. I mean, how odd that school tells us learn general knowledge. Yet, as we know in the working world, we're increasingly rewarded for having specialized knowledge. So the very notion that school is preparing us for the future is just laughable.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is I think more and more parents recognize this. They've lived this and they're not going to put up with it. We have Montessori schools right now. We have Waldorf schools right now that reward uh, people going in and focusing on what they're interested in. But it was always a bit fringe. Elon Musk is the opposite of fringe. He's got millions and millions and millions of followers. He's the one person that can mainstream what had always been somewhat of a fringe notion that school should be fun, that we should focus on what we're good at.
Yeah. And as you point out in your article, an elementary school teacher or principal, I forget which off the top of my head, that that Musk had when he was in elementary school, said that he was mentally challenged.
Hmm. Yeah. How many people do they assume this about? Just because they don't have traditional interests. It's a strange world, but it's an exciting world. I'm so glad for Elon Musk for all the things he's doing, but also finally someone who's just kind of confidently saying, we're going to do things differently. Kids are going to love showing up at school. Notice also with his school in Texas, there's no grades. You just go and you learn what you're interested in. It's not this regimented notion. You learn this in first grade, you
Oh yeah.
learn this in second grade. His idea is you should learn as things jump out at you, as they interest you, so that you're excited. I think I speak for the both of us. I used to hear the tick tick noise of 60 Minutes on Sunday growing up, and it had a visceral effect on me. I knew the weekend was over, but I had school the next day. And I don't think I was particularly stupid, but so much about school was terrifying. So much about school humiliated me. Uh, why? Why do we accept that?
If it wasn't for sports, school would have been a disaster in terms of me.
I
That's the
love
only
it.
reason I was connected to it.
Well, okay, but think about it, because that's right. You're a legendary Pittsburgh athlete. You know, based on sports, that sports are incredibly cerebral.
Yeah.
What happens on the football field requires remarkable levels of intelligence. Yet we say, well, sports is play. I reject that. What you do on a football field is artistry. It's ballet combined with immense knowledge. And yet we never talk about this. And so, yes, you love school because of sports and everything, but think of all the things they forced you to do that you never would use, and that just made going to school
Discipline.
a bad thing.
Discipline. By the way, former Pittsburgh Steeler wide receiver Lynn Swan, who I believe is in the Hall of Fame, was an outstanding ballet performer.
That's right. Darn right. And he's in the Hall of Fame.
USC. USC, yeah. Uh, any final comments, John? This is remarkable. I'm really I can't tell you how excited I am to learn about the SpaceX school. I'd heard about it, didn't fully understand what it was all about, and this is and as you say in your article, both the left and the right have it wrong. They think that government is the answer. Any final comments?
Yeah, well, and we keep seeing that government's not the answer with this too, that why would you improve what's they've been doing for centuries? Why not improve things by doing things differently? And so I think we are going to see this. I've predicted also that I think math scores, test scores will go down, but I'm saying that this is a bullish signal. It's a signal that people broadly are starting to recognize that what they've taught historically has no relevance to where we're headed professionally and in the working world. And I think that's a beautiful thing. That's not to say that math is bad. Some people will get really high scores in math, but we all won't have to be great at it. We all won't have to learn what we can't stand learning. We can finally start focusing on what we enjoy, because people like Elon Musk will make mainstream what for too long wasn't, and it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. I just got to say, I know we said it earlier. It's astounding. I mean, I knew it, never thought about it till I read your article. It's astounding to think that this system has been in place for centuries.
Hmm. Imagine a business telling you that.
All right, John Tamny, as I say, editor at Real Clear Markets, which is the financial editor at Real Clear Politics, uh, the political economic editor at Forbes, and the president of the Parkview Institute. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
All right, talk to you soon.